Altså folkens, det her det er sådan min 10 spil, der snart kommer. Ja, i 2015 og i 2014 er løbet af de 2 år. Ja. Og så er der også nogle steder, hvor der står Microsoft, men det er kun fordi, at spillet ikke er udkommet nu, men det er udkommet til Xbox One. Yes, så... Og det her det er spil, der udkommer til PlayStation 4. Så... Her kommer de. Venlig. Er der noget, jeg skal se? Nej, vi ses.
Peggy 18.
Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world. Help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you, holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When they do, I'll be right behind you. So glad we've almost made it. So sad we had to fade it. Everybody wants to. There's a room where the light won't find you. When they do, I'll be right behind you. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Peggy 7.
This is for the players.
Peggy 18.
Football is the greatest drama on earth. This is our stage, our theater. I was born into it, others were adopted, but we're all connected. If you don't believe we're family, you haven't felt what we felt. Agony, tension, heartbreak. But that moment, when it comes together just right, words cannot describe. But this isn't fiction. This is real life, our life. The stages are real. We can feel them, experience them. They come to life. These leading men take the ball, take the man, and take their place as legends. Our heroes run through walls to ignite our imagination. An entire season changes with one kick, one bad decision, one slip. But one magic moment lives in our hearts forever. For these moments. We are these moments. This is more than a game. This is football. FIFA 15. Feel the game. Product not yet rated.
Brains.
Melee, magic, all the mixed stuff you can find in dark fantasy games.
So right off the bat, I think it looks gorgeous.
Oh,
Really nice
this
game.
is our new outdoor level we brought you to Gamescom because we're showing previously catacombs, so some kind of underground levels, and people were asking whether we have some kind of fresh air. So yeah, we have, and this is the first time we're showing the game on Chrome Engine 6 because we made a transition from Chrome Engine 5. And Chrome Engine 6 is the same engine that runs Dying Light. So yeah, we have a pretty much boost in terms of visuals and some performance issues with AI and with animation on it. Yeah, it's kind of powerful tool, and
Yeah.
we like that we did it.
Yeah, it looks great. So what's the game all about? Who are we? What are we doing? Besides
Yeah.
hacking and slashing, we know that.
Yeah, the base foundation of the game is the hack and slash, so the combat, the different play styles. But we are Aiden, the main character, who has some kind of story with the mage. He's now forced to deal with and to cooperate with, but they have kind of tough story behind, and they need to face the evil forces. And this is basically what we are talking right now, because we don't want to spoil the story mode.
Sure. It looks like, is there going to be some exploration too? Or is it, it's not just non-stop action?
No, it's not a non-stop action, but we want to fill the game with an action as much as it's possible, but not to be tiring.
Yeah.
We try to find some places, some space for exploration, because we have a randomly generated loot, which drops you a lot of stuff you need to pick up and compare. This is some kind of stuff that hack and slash genre needs. So yeah, like crates and chests, and you need to go and to find the right equipment for the job. So yeah, there will be a side path you can go and explore and meet some additional enemies.
But you wouldn't say it's an RPG.
Well, our character development is quite vast. So at some point we have a lot of skills to buy and develop your character. But we are not a pure RPG. We're somewhere in the middle between RPG and action, and we are kind of manually oriented people. We like FPP perspective. We think it's the best that games can have because you go deeper in the action, and it's somewhere in between. We try to keep your hands busy all the time.
You've described it as a mix of Dead Island and Elder Scrolls. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
There are some influences of different games. A lot of fans see Heretic and Hexen, and they say, "Whoa, it's kind of old school kind of feel." But we want to make a modern game and that fits the present generation of consoles. But yeah, we are born and raised by the games like 90s games, and I think you can feel it, and I think it's kind of good.
It's a single-player campaign, but there's also cooperative?
Yeah, the game is composed of 3 different gameplay modes. So we have the story mode that we are seeing right now. This is the story mode, the part of this story mode. We have also a mission mode, which brings some kind of arcade flavor to a game, like combos and team score points, and in mission mode you are trying to achieve the best score result and go to leaderboards. And we have third mode, which is arena mode. We have specially designed maps to support the arena gameplay when you go and try to survive, and this is pretty tough. And each of these 3 gameplay modes is playable in single or with up to 4 friends cooperation mode. Moreover, if you build your character, you can go to either of those 3 modes, and it doesn't matter the sequence. You may start with arena, or you may start with the story and then go to other gameplay modes.
I see. What about master mode?
What about master?
Isn't there a master mode as well?
Not now.
Game master mode?
Oh, game master mode.
Yeah.
There was a concept at the beginning that some things is making a lot of mess on the maps. But after trying to balance the game and try to make fair rules how to gain points and go to leaderboards, it was too random to judge how players perform. So we decided to minimize it. There still is some kind of random encounters and a lot of different situations, but we stopped calling it master mode because it was like messing with our game too much.
I see. So the loot is randomly generated.
Yep.
You'll find weapons, armor, items.
Weapons, armor, potions, scrolls, and enchantment elements. Because you may enchant weapon in Hellraid. So you have a sword and you have a low-level scroll. Then you can upgrade it a little. If you find a high-ranked scroll with some decent recipe, and you go and find the right toys, and you can just build a really powerful weapon.
So what we're seeing here, there's no HUD. Is this what you intend the final game to look like?
No, there is a HUD. We just switched some materials with HUD and some without. Oh, and there's a skill tree. You were asking about RPG element.
Right.
We decided to drop the idea of different character classes, and we built some kind of rosette. So you start in the middle of a rosette with the different areas of specialization, like melee and tank, like offensive magic, defensive spells. We have also part of the rosette responsible for agility or ranged weapons. And if players want to be a really tough barbarian kind of player, they can go ahead and just invest all of that in this part of the rosette. But if you want to try to mix and match some different stuff, like a bit of defensive mage with some ranged weapon and a lot of agility, it's up to you. So we really don't know what gamers will come up with.
What can you tell us about the story?
The story is based on the Aiden, the main character, and we need to go ally with the mage. He knows what's happening, but I don't want to spoil too much.
Sure.
But the construction of the story in the game is more like quests.
She's got class and style, street knowledge by the pound. Baby, never act wild, very low key on the profile. Catching feelings is a no. Let me tell you how it goes. Curves the word, spins the verb. Lovers and curves, so freak what you heard. Rolling with the fatness, you don't even know what the half is. You've got to pay to play, just for shorty bang to look your way. I like the way you work it, trump tight all day, every day. You're blowing my mind, maybe in time, baby I can get you. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up, bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up, bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up. Get it out of my mind. Think about the girl all the time. Can't get it out of my mind. Think about it each and every day. Get it out of my mind. Think about the girl all the time. Can't get it out of my mind. Think about it each and every day. East side to the west side, pushing fat rides, it's no surprise. She got tricks in the stash, stacking up the cash, fast when it comes to the gas. By no means average, it's on when she's got to have it. Baby, you're a perfect 10, I wanna get in, can I get down so work it, work it, work it, where you work it, work it, work it, work it. Get it out of my mind. Think about the girl all the time. Can't get it out of my mind. Think about it each and every day. Work it, work it, work it, work it. Where you work it, work it, work it, work it. Get it out of my mind. Think about the girl all the time. Can't get it out of my mind. Think about it each and every day. I like the way you work it, way you work it. I like the way you work it, way you work it. I like the way you work it, way you work it. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up, bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up, bag it up. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Bag it up.
And that could be to repair bridges in the area that you've been exploring to get access to new parts. We're also showing how you can customize your Inquisition by getting new perks for the Inquisition, which has gameplay benefits. And then what we'll do here is we'll jump into Ferelden, and you can see we're going to start an operation to send our scouts into a new area of the world that we might want to go and explore called the Fallow Mire. And the reason why we're doing that is some of our Inquisition soldiers have been captured by some barbarians, and we might want to go in there and rescue them. But along the way, you know, it's an open world game, so you can explore a whole bunch of different parts of the world. And so this is it. This is your Inquisitor that we have today. This is a human female warrior Inquisitor, but of course you could be any of the different 4 races, 3 classes, and customize how you look as well.
He wants them to fight you.
So this is Scout Harding. She's the lead scout for the Inquisition. She's a whole bunch of scouts that go off and set up Inquisition camps for you throughout the world. And once you've got a first camp in one of these big open areas of the world, then you can go in there and you can start looking at exploring and uncovering the secrets and just run around and have fun. But this is a very tense area. It's a creepy swamp. There's lots of undead that have been raised because a plague went through this area and wiped everyone out.
Now you mentioned the camps. Are those the same thing as the keeps, or are these different?
A little bit different. They're kind of like small versions of keeps.
Okay.
You know, as an Inquisitor, you have the ability to send your soldiers and forces through the world to set up camps, and you can find other little opportunities to set up camps as well as you explore the world. But you can also capture these big keeps, as you mentioned, and when you do that, you bring your Inquisition forces into them, you populate that keep, gives access to new side content in the world. And then, of course, you have Skyhold, which is your massive castle, which is your seat of your power as the Inquisition. And within Skyhold, that's where you have that war table that we just saw.
Sure. So a couple of things I noticed. First of all, the game is gorgeous.
Yes.
Right? And also, we have a ridiculously giant sword on our
Yeah,
back.
that's right, yeah.
It's like Final Fantasy level ridiculous.
Maybe not quite that much, but yeah, it's a pretty big sword. We wanted the combat in Dragon Age Inquisition to really feel weighty and have a lot of impact. We've slowed it down quite a lot because we want that sort of visceral punch when you swing, and you can see there, you know, how much weight is going behind that two-handed sword.
Yeah.
But that's just a warrior. I mean, a warrior could be using a shield and a sword or a mace, or we did have one version of this demo where the Inquisitor was using this massive warhammer, you know, doing this big sort of stomps, and that was very interesting when you pound an undead corpse into the ground repeatedly. It's very cool.
Our sword was also on fire.
Also on fire, yeah, absolutely. So you can enchant your weapons and armor through the game. So we've got a fire rune on this sword here, so it's a big flaming sword when you pull it out in combat. But there's things like frost runes and lightning runes, there's vampiric runes as well. There's a whole variety of ways that you can enchant the weapons and armor that you either find or craft in the world.
Are these enemies we're fighting, are these the plague victims?
These are the plague victims, that's right, yeah. So what you'll find as you explore this environment is that this plague came through, wiped everyone out. They tried to burn a lot of the bodies, but the plague was too deadly, and it just killed everyone before they could burn all the corpses. And then someone or something is causing these things to raise from death. And really, this area, anytime you start to walk in the water and disturb the water, more corpses, more undead start to spawn around you. And these pillars here that we're seeing now, we can use our mage, Solus here, to light a veil fire beacon. And by doing that, we draw some demons back up onto solid ground, and they bring some of the undead with them. So it's a great way to think about how you can avoid some of the corpses in the water and pull them up onto solid ground. So this is one of the terror demons that we have. It's this crazy, nasty looking demon, and it's come from the Fade. So of course that big rift in the sky that you may have seen from E3 and other trailers, that's causing a lot of these spirits and demons to come into the world. So here we've got the Inquisitor lighting a torch from that veil fire, and that's going to allow us to uncover various hidden runes throughout the world. And in this case, it starts a chain of content, chain of stories to uncover the truth behind this undead and the plague. So yeah, there's lots of different secrets in the world to find, just like that.
Would this be considered a side quest in the game?
This is really a side quest, absolutely. This is an area of the game. Of course, we're an open world game with multiple regions. The story that we're telling in Inquisition is far too broad and vast to be able to tell in a single area. So we wanted to take the player all over these two different countries, being Ferelden and Orlais. And as a consequence of that story being so large, we need to take the player to different locations. So things like this swampy area or massive deserts.
This thing is cool.
This thing's very cool, yeah. I can't even pronounce the name of it, but it's this crazy lizard creature. And you know, all the creatures that you find in the game all have different sort of predator and prey faction settings. So you know, you might come across that lizard creature there, and it might be fighting wolves, or it could be attacking humans. I've seen some really interesting, crazy results. I once saw a giant that we have, one of the giants we have in the game, throwing boulders at a dragon as it was
nice.
flying past.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. So you
It's
can see
another
this-
secret
Yeah,
here?
exactly. More secrets. So you can see we're starting to find out more about what might be coming, what might be causing these undead to be raised. So we've also got Solus, as I mentioned, the mage in the party. We've got Blackwall, who's a Grey Warden, and we have Cole. And Cole is a character originally from one of our novels, Dragon Age novels, and he's a very weird person. Yeah. So he's very creepy. But he's a rogue, so he's using two daggers. Rogues can also be using ranged weapons or a variety of melee weapons too. And Solus, of course, is using his magical staff, and he's got some really crazy and cool spells he uses.
So you can switch between members of your party at any time.
Absolutely, yeah. So now we're using Cole to run around, but you can stay fixed on the Inquisitor if you want to do that, or you can essentially take control directly of any of the companions that you decide to bring along. We've got 9 different companions in Inquisition, and you can bring those into your party and adventure with them any time. So in combat, you can still swap between the different characters, and of course, if you stay in action combat, you can keep doing that. If you go into tactical combat, which
Right.
we'll see in a little bit,
Good.
then you can take control of all of them, issue them all
Sure.
different orders, and see how it plays out.
We just picked up Blood Lotus.
Yeah, that's right. So the armor that we grabbed here for Solus, you might notice that when we picked it up, there was a couple of slots in there that were empty. So one of the great things about the crafting system that we have is that not only can you make full suits of armor, but you can also craft or find different gauntlets and boots that you can then insert into the armor set to customize how the stats and how it looks. And that means that you can really customize how you're playing combat. And of course, with the crafting system as well, you can craft weapons and everything, and of course enchant it. And I love being able to craft the blades separately from the hilt, from the pommel and the crossguard, all out of different metals and materials, and those metals and materials will change how the weapon looks and how it fights.
So we're going to set up camp.
We set up a camp, exactly. We found a great place to push our Inquisition further into the world as we explore. We've got a station here where we can craft some new potions. What we just did there was we found a recipe for some poison, and we picked some flowers earlier on in this demo. I think it was Blood Lotus, and that lets us mix that poison. So we might be able to use that poison as we explore through, and I think at the E3 press conference we saw Cole use that poison.
You can poison your blades?
Absolutely, yeah, you can poison the blades, and that does a ton of damage.
Yeah. So if we happen to fall in combat, do we go back to the camp?
Well, if you fall in combat, if it's just one of your companions or you have fallen down, you can be revived. But if everyone wipes, then you might need to load a save game. But interesting, there are some really cool times in the game through decisions that you can actually have a game over moment, which is pretty neat. So this is one of the Avar barbarians. His tribe has captured your Inquisition soldiers, but he's not interested in any of that. He just wants to find out what's going on with this small rift that's popped up in this area. So he's keeping an eye on it. That's spitting out demons, and he's talking about his goddess, like the sky goddess, and it's an interesting sort of dialogue. We saw it again at the E3 press conference where Aaron showed some more gameplay from this area. Afterward, killed his chieftain, which he considers to be dishonorable. We then had an option to recruit this character into the Inquisition as one of our agents that we can then send out through that war table that we saw.
I see. So there's a rift behind us.
There is, exactly, and I think we're going to try and we're going to tear it open. It's sitting there at the moment, but we're going to tear it open so we can then close it, kill some demons, and bring a bit of stability to this part of the region. So the Inquisitor, as you can see there, is opening up this rift. At the beginning of the game, you are blown into the Fade in this massive explosion, and that gives you the ability to manipulate these rifts in some way.
Okay, so here we get to see the tactical view.
Exactly. So this is the tactical view. We've brought it back from Dragon Age Origins and enhanced it. So you can see as we hover over some of the enemies there, we can see some details, their strengths and weaknesses. The more we fight creatures, the more information we're going to have about them. So, we'd set up some basic attacks there, a whirlwind for the Inquisitor, and then we advance time, seeing how that strategy plays out. And then at any point you can jump back into action mode if you want. But here we've got a Wraith, it's a new enemy in the world. So we've got okay, so now we're in direct control of Cole. he's a high damage. We expect him to be high damage, so he's just going to run around and kill things. The Skywatcher Barbarian is fighting on our side, which is really cool.
What does it mean when an enemy is taunted?
Sorry, mate?
When an enemy is taunted, what does that mean?
So if an enemy's taunted, it means probably Blackwall, who's our warrior. He's a very defensive warrior. He's using his Warhorn ability to draw the aggro of all these creatures, keep their attention while Cole, Solus, and the Inquisitor deal a lot of damage. There's a Rage Demon, maybe familiar from the previous two Dragon Age. Now this is a really cool ability. As the Inquisitor has this special ability, this Mark of the Rift, that she's using her connection to the Fade to essentially banish all of the demons in an area of effect, which means it simplifies that combat a lot, and it's a really great way to just wipe them out. But you can't use it all the time, so.
How's this battle going?
It's going pretty good. So yeah, they defeated all of the demons that came out of the Rift. The Inquisitor's now going to close it down, and by doing so, that earns power and influence for your Inquisition, which you can then again spend on more operations and missions at the war table that we saw at the beginning. And some loot there, that Spirit Essence you can convert into enchanting weapons, which is great.
Zombies.
Now it's zombies.
California. Actually, Daniel can do it in 7 seconds. You want that?
Yeah, I want the 7-second version.
Game in 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, so California Zombie Playground. 8 players, seamless multiplayer. Kick-ass zombies, just a lot of fun.
Perfect.
Works.
All right. Thanks for coming by the show. No, yeah, this looks great. Let's take a look here. Where in California are we?
Yes, this is set in LA. If you look around, you might even see the Hollywood sign. And you know what? We had to pay for using that. You have to pay.
They charge you for that?
Yeah. There's a guy who actually owns the Hollywood sign.
What?
Yeah. And every time somebody uses it in games, yeah, there it is. In games, movies,
Wow.
whatever, you have to pay for it, and it's not cheap.
Yeah, I
Deep
don't
Silver wasn't amused. They asked us if we could do something like Zombie Land Hills. Funny,
Yeah.
But we said no. We need Hollywood. It needs to be the proper Hollywood sign. So please pay for it. And they did.
Why was it so important to set it in the real Los Angeles?
It is.
But why is that? Why was it important to you?
I think one of the aspects is that island games always should be in a place where you want to go, where you want to be, where it's beautiful and fantastic. And so we started thinking about what is the most beautiful, iconic location on this planet. And then we said, California, because for a lot of people, especially in Europe, going to California, that's a dream.
Really?
It's this land where everybody's beautiful, everybody's rich, everybody's a superstar. Not quite, but that's what we wanted to bring into that island. So we said, hey, it has to be California, and also we wanted something that offers a lot more space. So we have California, no, not California, we have Los Angeles, San Francisco, and the top third area that we're not talking about yet.
How do you travel between the different areas?
With a car, and we have a fast travel option.
Gotcha. So it looks like the modified weapons are coming back?
Yeah.
Definitely. So basically what we're showing off in the demo here is we have the shock mod that was also in the original game, and that's what you're seeing here right now. We also have the fire mod. You can use to set things on fire. You can actually set the grass on fire this time around as well. And what's really cool about Dead Island 2 that wasn't really there in the first game was you can actually dual wield weapons. And doing so, you can actually have 2 different weapon effects at the same time. So you can have like a shotgun in your left hand, 3 zombies with it, and then follow up with a mace that's on fire. So you shatter them into burning frost pieces.
Oh my god. Oh, zombies. You know what, actually, did you see the face of the zombie? What we did is, because we're Jaeger and we like to do things right, we scanned the whole team. So the faces of the zombies are actually people from Jaeger. So the guy who just broke through the door was actually Calvin, one of our character artists.
Nice.
And I've seen Robert a lot, a concept artist. And so in the final game, you will be able to hunt down the whole of Jaeger.
Finally.
How about that?
Is there an explanation for the zombie outbreak in California? What happened?
It's all in your mind.
It's all in your mind?
No, that's the Spec Ops answer. No, that's not true. No, there's no explanation. What we want is basically that the zombies are not a surprise. They're kind of an established fact of the world that we live in. Because a that also ties into the seamless multiplayer we have, which basically means that I keep telling people internally what we're doing is we're actually building the world's smallest MMO, because our world doesn't end. There's no end game. There's no set beginning, because by the nature of seamless, you can join and leave at any time. So our game actually doesn't have an end. And to channel, that also applies to the story, because narrative requires us to do something super innovative at the same time. Because how do you tell a story when people can leave and join at any time? And so my answer is, to channel Molineux for a second, is we don't have one story, we have thousands.
So
See what I did there?
it's pretty good.
Was
it's pretty
it good?
Yeah.
Nicely
Okay.
done.
But you can't. So you can't beat the game.
No. It never ends.
But you'll keep getting missions.
You keep getting missions,
Okay.
stuff is going on, there are events in the world that happen over and over again. Like for example here, there's a bar, and the people living there, the other survivors, they ask you to defend it against the zombie hordes. And then after you do that, they say, okay, thanks guys, but now we would like to watch, let's say, a football game, but our generator ran out of gasoline, so could you please go over to the next gas station and get some gas for us so we can watch football? And then they watch football, and that makes lots of noise, which again attracts lots more zombies. So they say, can you repair our defenses, and on and on and on. So we have these events which basically stack onto each other and give you the illusion of basically a never... That was Robert. Of a never-ending world for you to play with.
I see.
I'm talking the whole time. Ask Daniel something. Sorry. I'm so excited.
I know. I want to hear about the